NBS Frontline. A reported move to amend the Administration of Parliament Bill has once again sparked debate about the balance of power in Uganda's politics. The leader of opposition is the highest-ranking opposition politician in parliament, responsible for coordinating opposition activities, scrutinizing government policies, and presenting alternative views on national issues. To many, the proposed amendment signals the government's intent to transfer the vote for a leader of opposition to the full House.
Is touching on the removal of the leader of opposition.
While the position is appointed by the largest opposition party in parliament, attempts to replace or remove a leader of opposition, as was seen in the 11th parliament, have generated significant controversy due to the political implications involved. Many have viewed such moves as the government seeking to install opposition leaders who are less likely to hold it accountable.
One, going to undermine the growth of opposition party in this country.
The ruling party has no business with the leadership of the opposition.
If you change the selector, you may also change the character.
The bill, first tabled by Richard Lumo, former legislator for Mityana South, was vehemently contested and eventually withdrawn. However, now it appears that both the NRM and PLU are unwilling to wait out the 5-year term before revisiting the matter.
For what purpose? How does it concern that person who is going by?
Someone is the presiding officer, but he has been in a meeting of a certain party. Expect to see no resistance from the Speaker and Deputy Speaker.
As discussions continue, attention remains focused on how this will be resolved and what impact it could have on parliamentary business, opposition unity, and the broader political landscape ahead of future elections. For many observers, the controversy is not simply about one individual occupying a position. Rather, it's about the direction of opposition politics, the strength of democratic institutions, and Parliament's ability to effectively fulfill its oversight role. So we ask, what is really at stake in the bid to remove the leader of opposition? This is The Frontline. Frontline.
Yes, it's the Frontline, and a very warm welcome to you, viewers out there. Special regards to whoever is on Afro Mobile. Thank you very much. Well, our panel this evening will be weighing into the raging storm within Parliament as NRM PLU leaning members of Parliament, led by Honorable Dennis Namara, Member of Parliament for Buyaga West, seek leave of absence from Parliament to draft a bill that will amend the administration of Parliament, specifically targeting the position of the leader of opposition in Parliament. Well, some of the analysts have looked at this as quite untenable and something born out of malice, spite, and blissful ignorance of the law, whereas proponents of the amendment suggest that it's about improving transparency and involve inclusion of all members of Parliament in the affairs of the office of the Leader of Parliament. What is at stake? How tenable? And what does this portend for multi-party parliamentary democracy? These and more questions will be answered by my guests tonight. And joining me is Honorable Matthias Mpuga Nsamba, former leader of opposition in Parliament and former member of Parliament, a lawyer himself. He will be sharing his perspective together with the mover of the bill, the man at the center of the storm, Honorable Dennis Namara, member of Parliament for Buyaga West, and the Chief Whip of the opposition in Parliament, Honorable Paul Meru. Our guest tonight, a very warm welcome and thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Honorable Namara, what do you want?
Thank you so much, Simon. Good evening, viewers. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dennis Namara, Member of Parliament, Buyaga West constituency, in the 12th Parliament. One is that as a member of Parliament, I've come to do the functions of a member of Parliament. And one of them in this particular aspect is the function of legislation. So I want to legislate, if I can answer you.
I mean, what's so critical? Of all things that the country is grappling with, why would you jump on this? Aren't you being opportunistic and simply seeking attention? Because first, it is General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, the CDF, and your leader in PLU, who first came out to hint on replacing the leader of opposition in Parliament.
You see, there's a popular saying which goes that there's nothing more powerful than an idea whose time has come. So I was already having that idea of amending the Administration of Parliament Act. I had that idea because this is the 12th Parliament. It's a new Parliament. So we are looking at how we can function better as the 12th Parliament using our own laws within the Parliament. So when I was thinking of how best we can have our Parliament move forward and amend particularly some provisions of the law to ensure that Parliament is moving in tandem, both opposition and NRM, in the purview of accountability, that's when I thought of this. And by coincidence, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba was also thinking in the same direction as the leader of PLU.
And you just being an agent?
No, not at all. Not at all. I'm just, Article 59 of the Treaty of the Constitution is clear that our work is to legislate. Then Article 79, Article 94 of the Constitution and Rule 127 of our Rules of Procedure provide us that any member of Parliament can move a private member's bill on any matter within Parliament or the nation that he feels is important to the country.
Okay, what exactly is the problem with the leader of opposition? Apparently.
First of all, I want first to clarify that the amendment is not targeting the individual in the leader of opposition. The amendment is looking at how both government and the opposition can be accountable to the people of Uganda. So that's why we are looking at certain provisions within the Administration of Parliament Act to ensure that the manifesto or the words of the president that this is Kisanja hakuna kulala, Kisanja no corruption, both on the side of government and on the side of the opposition, we are all moving in tandem. No one is outside the ambit and the purview of parliamentary accountability.
What is that specific clause that you really want tackled?
First of all, let me give you a background. You are aware that from the time we went multi-party in 2006, we had to amend the Constitution to ensure that we create the position of leader of opposition. And the same law, the same Constitution, provided that Parliament will come up with the law on how the leader of opposition will be chosen and how the leader will cease to be a member or the leader. So they went ahead and amended the Administration of Parliament Act 2006 under Section 6A to ensure to put in place the leader of opposition. And they provided that he will come or she will come from the party with the highest number of members of Parliament. And in the same provision, they said, in coming up with the name of the leader of opposition, that party must be in consultation or should be in consultation with other opposition political parties and independent members of Parliament. They were given leverage. Right from the time of FDC, they were doing the same thing. They say you may consult other political parties, but FDC would sit in Najana Nkumbi when my brother was still a member there, Honorable Mwiru, and come up with the leader of opposition without consulting the other minority political parties in the opposition, neither members of the independent members of Parliament. And we are seeing the same with NUP. They have done the same. When they were going to choose the leader of opposition, there is no member of the opposition whom they consulted apart from NUP.
Why is it your business?
It is my business.
No, you belong to NRM.
I belong to NRM, but I'm also a member of Parliament. Members of Parliament, or whether government or opposition, they must be accountable because they are drawing money from the consolidated fund. You are aware that the leader of opposition, the position, that particular office is provided for with the funds from the consolidated fund. The other financial, they received 4.2 billion. I know Honorable Mwiru is going to say that is not the leader of opposition that accounts for that money. Then why would you be asking the president to account for the money of government, or ministers to account for the money of government of their ministries when they have permanent secretaries. So you must take political responsibility. And as long as you're drawing money from the consolidated fund, you must be under the purview of accountability within Parliament.
Before I shift to Honorable Mwiru, have you addressed yourself to the law?
Yes.
How the leader of opposition is appointed, and how business is conducted, and how the leader of opposition can be removed?
Absolutely. And I've given you the law.
So is there a lacuna?
A big lacuna. And I will give you the lacuna. First of all, in the area concerning choosing the leader of opposition, Section 6A provides that he will consult other members of the opposition parties and independent members of Parliament. That leverage and leeway has been abused because the political party with majority members of Parliament has never, ever consulted independent members of Parliament as provided for under Section 6A. Neither do they consult all the other political parties in the Parliament when coming up with the leader of opposition. But on top of that, in the composition of committees, the leadership of committees, and even the shadow cabinet. And I'll give you information regarding that.
Thank you.
Yes.
Honorable Mwiru, how unsettling is this move by the NRM PLU to remove, or rather to get into the office of the leader of opposition? Already, FK has hinted on having his own cherry-picked leader of opposition.
Well, thank you. I think I will start with I want to borrow your constitution.
Please, go ahead.
Because he carried a copy of the constitution with him, and he was alluding to the question of accountability. And without distorting, I will ask you to read for us.
Read. You read.
164.2.
Proceed.
Article 164 is on accountability.
Of who?
And it reads, I'll read specifically the 164.2. It says, any person holding a political or public office who directs or concurs in the use of public funds contrary to the existing instructions shall be accountable for any loss arising from that use and shall be required to make a good the loss even if he or she ceases to hold that office. The import of that article is that anybody who receives public money must account. And I think we agree on that.
Yes, yes.
It is in the constitution you came with. But two, and the most important, is that when money is appropriated in Parliament, they are vote holders. When we appropriate money, those are things I think we are going to deal with. I think next week, there's going to be an induction. That money is appropriated to vote holders. Like in the case of Parliament, the office of the leader of opposition, it has even an officer who is specifically a whole director in charge of that office, who is like the vote holder, the way business runs. The leader of opposition does not receive money, even in cash. This to start with. I want first to deal with the issue of accountability. Because it's when he talks about the 4.2, maybe I can help you with the breakdown, that actually part of that money, the way it is, when it goes there, there's an advisory. That is the money which has been released for planned for activities. The activity office has that money is requisitioned, and then actually whatever is done in Parliament is with approval of the Speaker. And once money is appropriated, for instance, if they were paying shadow ministers in the opposition, because they are paid some amount of money.
Yes, they are paid 2.5 more.
1.5. They don't give it to the leader of opposition. He doesn't pick cash and go and give whoever he gives. It is just a auction which is made on the basis of the budget, actually as it runs. So in all this, what I wanted to make actually my brother know, for instance, as the chief opposition whip, I have a fuel allowance out of the head of opposition budget. But from the way, once they're giving that money, they don't give me money. They give a fuel card. You understand? This is what I wanted him to understand, that at no instance does the leader of opposition handle money. their requisition is made and they account for money. And in this case, the accountant of parliament, now the one who accounts for parliament, the accounting officer is the clerk to parliament. I thought I should first settle, because but my brother, but certain things are going to be addressed as we move on. Of course, he's my friend, and I will leave it at that.
Yeah, but there is a central argument.
But I'm coming to that.
The house.
When he was talking about which house?
That he wants the entire house now to vote the leader of opposition.
No. He premised his motion on the fact that the leader of opposition does not account. And I'm telling him that actually the leader of opposition first has no business holding money. The accounting office of parliament is the clerk. But even then, the clerk delegates an officer in the office of opposition who deals with that.
Okay.
That even if there's going to be a field site and the names came, the head of opposition would write to the speaker who would say yes or no. To the extent that if the speaker said no, the matter would not even move. But I think I thought I should make that very, very clear.
Yes.
Then
but Simon, before you leave that point.
No, you'll get back.
When it comes to the issue of appointing the leader of opposition and other members, I think what may be my brother, but you are in parliament, this 12th parliament, there's consultation, because when we were announcing the head of opposition and other positions, I think you heard that we appointed other people to be leaders in terms of the shadow cabinet, and they come from different political parties.
20 out of 30 from NUP.
No, I'm saying that at least you are aware, because I don't know what you construe to mean consultation, but consultation, it can even be defined. It can mean a lot. Actually, you understand it? When they talk of consultation, I want to tell you that there was consultation. But two, and most importantly, was alluding to the fact that the law as is says that the party with the majority members of parliament will actually bring the leader.
Will elect
the leader of opposition. Yes, now, what it construes to be an election now, it is also what we also need to understand. That's what we also need to understand. So to me, in as far as I'm concerned, there's no mischief the amendment is intending to cure. My brother, I think I want to support his right as a member of parliament to bring a bill. But maybe I think, I don't want to say that he is nose diving, because there's going to be time that next week all members of parliament, of the 12th parliament, we are going to start.
Do you look at this as an exercise in futility in itself?
Of course, for me, as far as I'm concerned, because this is not new. And what my brother actually is doing, if he knows in research that it is what we call the review, if he bothered to know that this matter has ever been there, maybe we'll start by finding out why it didn't go far. Because even his own party came and opposed the same idea. He's trying to actually to move. But to me, this is very good for him. It shows me that we are going to have an active MP in the 12th parliament. The right to bring a motion is his right. But also, what he should know, that when you seek leave of parliament, it's not that the way it is. He must move a motion. What he gave was notice. But he must move a motion, and he must justify and give reasons. And I've told you that all the reasons actually put in the draft motion, I saw.
Yeah, but behind all this is a powerful general who is hell-bent in getting a new leader of opposition. Is the move stoppable in its tracks?
Well, I don't want to belong to those narratives. I know, yes, everything has collapsed. But as a legislator, I want to have the faith, because I've bumped into many MPs, including him, if you talk in silence, because he's very knowledgeable and he's a senior citizen now. He has been in the East African Parliament twice. If you ask him on governance issues in private, I think you not give the same answer you give in public, isn't it?
That is what you say. That is according to you.
Well, Honorable Buga, as a former leader of opposition, who's seen it all anyway, what is your take on the current hysteria around the amendment?
I think the most important question is the question you did ask the Honorable Namala at the beginning. What does he want? I think should have been the first and last question. One philosopher, I think Wolfgang, did say that most people don't have original ideas. They simply regurgitate all the powerful say, the rich say, for their comfort. But I dare say that these are very telling times. And as leaders, when you're a leader, it's a duty to solve challenges as they arise. So for my brother, Paul Mill, and the opposition team in Parliament, don't run away from these challenges, deal with them with composure and clarity. And this kind of platform helps you to offer clarity, unequivocal clarity, to some of these contradictions. To my friend, the Honorable Namara, there's a lot to do for Uganda on the parliamentary platform. The office of the leader of the opposition is not a dole out of magnanimity by anybody. It's not doled as, magnanimity from anybody. It's not an offer. It's not a gift.
But that's how it's been. There's been no consensus.
I wish you listened.
Yes.
The fact that you get from Parliament, from the Constitution, is the people's consensus, not a consensus of the adventurers. And therefore, if you want to deal with that office, you must first of all remove the lenses, the partisan lenses of those individuals you disagree with, because they do not own that office. That office is the office of the people of Uganda, and in embracing it wholesomely, they crafted a law. In Section 8, I think they need to read it with clarity. First of all, the consultation so said is not mandatory. You need to read the coaching of the legal language there. May consult. So when you say may consult, it's a question of being kind, it's courteous, it's an invitation of others to be a part. It's not mandatory, and you cannot take that to court to say they did not consult. And because the Constitution clarifies on the nature of our democracy as a multi-party, there must be respect for the choice of the people. What the Honorable Namara is trying to do, and his other friends, honorable friends, is to enact the movement system through the aid of the opposition office, where you must compulsorily belong, where you must compulsorily participate, where you must, as a matter of law, be a part. To belong to the opposition is a choice. And in our parliamentary situation, it's even more controversial, because there is a very thin line between the opposition that works with the NRM and the opposition that is actually opposition. So when you have that kind of outlook, then you must be careful with what you do. And for me, this too, the Honorable Muiru I've worked with for a long time, must offer some education, some lean back kind of education, internal education for the opposition to understand better how to work with each other, so that you do not offer an invitation to the Namaras of this world to vulgarize what constitutes the opposition. Because it's a choice, and that choice is protected by law. We are inviting them to make it look vulgar, as though belonging to the opposition is one kind of choosing controlled by another group. And I want to advise the Honorable Namara and group that your overtures cannot stand the test of the Constitution.
Yeah, but sinister as it may look, is it stoppable?
You know,
given the power of numbers.
Are you referring to the physically stopping it?
No. Not physically, even legally.
Nobody can.
Or constitutionally.
You cannot say you're going to stop it physically. But like I've said, I'm using very simple words. It cannot stand the test of the law. You know, it's just an adventure. And you see, it's just an adventure, and I cannot blame the Honorable Namara in being adventurous. Like I said, the philosophy of Wolfgang, he must be seen to be doing the wishes of the big man. But that's the danger with our democracy. There's simply so much to do, Honorable Namara. If you want our democracy to work, I can engage you in a private conversation on what you can do. You are holding the sword on the wrong side. If you want to be relevant, the pages will cover you.
Okay, is it one of those attempts that can bring hell down? I mean, is it so grand?
Not for me.
That the country should be really focused on it?
Not for me. And in fact, as far as I'm concerned, the Honorable Muira, the whip and group, don't have so much to do. It has everything to do with the Speaker of Parliament to show cause whether he actually understands the role of the Speaker in a multi-party democracy. And what the Namalas are trying to do is actually to test the Speaker. They're not testing the opposition. They're actually trying to test the sea by both legs. And the Speaker is actually, the jury is out on the Speaker of the House. He is understanding there too, and the beauty is that both are lawyers. They should understand that in a multi-party dispensation, the thick line is written with clarity. And where he is referring to, alluding to consultation, you read the law, may consult. For example, you have the independents.
That's what he wants to cure.
You have the independents. Some independents belong to the NRM. So you want to invite them to determine the fate of the opposition. It's beyond vulgar. You're trying to make an entire governance framework look simplistic. That, for me, should not be a matter being handled. I hope at the end of the orientation week, whether week or a month, the Honorable Namala will find the biggest dustbin at Parliament and dump there that request for leave.
Honorable Namala.
Yes.
Have you tested the waters on whether this is a popular or unpopular endeavor?
I love the English of Honorable Mathias Mpuga. I always admire him when he's articulating issues. He hides the facts in a lot of English and trying to hoodwink the unsuspecting members of the public by using smooth English and fail to look at the technical issues within the law. Because number one, we are looking at Article 82A together with Section 6 of the Administration of Parliamentary Act. Article 82 provides for the office of the Leader of Opposition. So when it talks about that the amendment cannot stand the test of the Constitution, I do not know why he's basing, which article of the Constitution he's basing his submission on. Number two, when you look at Section 6 of the Administration of Parliament Act, it provides, as it's talking about, that may consult the opposition party with the numerical strength in Parliament, may consult other opposition parties and independent members of Parliament. Unless he's trying to say that he wants to render that provision a nugatory in law, if that's what he's trying to say, that it has no effect of the law in terms of its implementation, then we would be arguing that there's no need of NUP as the majority party in Parliament to consult with other opposition parties in Parliament. And I'm going to give you evidence of what I'm talking about. If you look at the shadow, if you look at the composition.
As you continue with your submission,
yes,
you've heard the sentiment of your boss.
Before you take me there.
No, it's very important. You're bidding for someone.
You see, that is according to your own interpretation.
No, you're bidding for someone. Read that.
Simon,
if you can help us.
I wouldn't want you to divert me.
No, this is very important.
You see, that's what you're thinking. That's in your mind. Because you're trying to put words in my mouth. I have not said any of those particular words, but you're insinuating that. Now, let me finish my point. Before you divert me.
No, do you support PLU?
I support 100%. There's no problem. Yes, I support PLU.
So your leader,
that does not stop
your
me.
leader says he wants a new leader of opposition. And it's exactly what you're doing. You're just being a handmaid.
No, you are trying to divert me. Let me finish my point. Because I'm now talking about points of law, not just sweeping statements. I'm talking about points of law, and I'm taking you through the law. Unless you don't, you see, they said if you want to hide information from Africans, put it in writing. This information is in our constitution, it is in the law. And the senior counsel, Honorable Mathias Mpuga, and my alumni from Makerere University, we did law together, they know. If they say you may consult, If they thought that consulting was not important, they would not have put it there. They would have said the party with the majority members of parliament will bring...
The rider is may.
May consult.
May.
Yes, may consult. Now, may consult is a word which was put to test whether people have reasonableness in them. They didn't want to say you must consult. They said you may consult. They gave them leverage, and you know the law is always amended. So I think the framers of the law said, let's give them time. Since there's only time for amendment, let's give them time, and we see if they're able to consult and be part of the multi-party political dispensation. Now let me tell you, I want to give you information. You didn't allow me. When Honorable Mwiru and his colleagues were coming up with the positions of parliament, the committees and international bodies, I can read for you here, and you're going to allow me to read for you. Yes, I'm going to allow me to read for you. The ones whom they brought as members.
Is it important?
It is very important. Very, very important. Because if Honorable is saying it's not important, then it means other political parties, the minority like his, it would mean that they have no importance in parliament. We are trying to cure a situation where they say that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Because the opposition says they want to check NRM as in the government.
I find it rather deceitful and preposterous to say that an NRM is very concerned about the way the opposition is constituting itself.
Yes, because you say accountability is not about money. We are talking about...
Who is aggrieved?
We are trying to say...
No, who is aggrieved?
Me, I'm aggrieved as a Ugandan.
Why?
Because of the constitutionality, because of the law. But you know, I don't know whether you did law, but you know that people even got caught under public interest litigation, Article 5 of the Constitution. They may not be really that they have been affected personally, but they feel there's something wrong going on within the country, and they go for litigation. Let me read for you. Leader of Opposition, Honorable Joel Ssenyonyi. Chief Opposition Whip, Paul Mwiru. Deputy Chief Whip, Honorable Nakwede Harriet. All those are NUP. Commission of Parliament, Honorable Nambeshe, NUP. Public Accounts Committee, Honorable Nsaba Patrick, NUP. Chairperson, Public Accounts Vice Chairperson, Honorable Sarah Rwansasula. Chairperson, I mentioned the one. Chairperson Kosase, Nkunyinji Muwada. Vice Chairperson Kosase, Honorable George Musisi. Chairperson of Government Assurance Committee, Honorable Zake Francis. Vice Chairperson of Government Assurances, a senior legislator, Honorable Deke, from the other party. They did not put her in a serious position. Chairperson Local Government, Honorable Namboze. Chairperson Local Government Accounts Committee, Honorable Abedi Nasa Mudiobole. Pan-African Parliament, Honorable Karwanga. Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, Honorable Nantongo Fortunate Rose. Parliamentary Union of OIC, Honorable Son Chirumira. Interparliamentary Union, Honorable Nabukenya Brenda. Parliamentary Pension, Honorable Kawalia Abubakar. Caribbean Parliamentary Assembly, Honorable Namutawa Joan. So the issue is, when you look at the composition of that in Parliament, does it represent the wider perspective of the opposition in Parliament?
How does it affect you?
It affects me because they do not follow the law. The law says you may consult with other members of Parliament, other opposition parties in Parliament. So if you are talking about the deepening democracy and being accountable, accountability should not only be on the side of government.
You seem to be crying more than the bereaved in this case.
Because you're enjoying, because some of them have been marginalized by the powerful. These guys, they go to Kavule there and come up with a list. Even the NUP members in Parliament are not aware of how these positions are given. So for me as a person, a student of constitutional law, a person who is very ardent about ensuring accountability, both in terms of value for money, but also in terms of how we perform.
Okay.
I'm very concerned about that.
Before I bring in Honorable Mwiru, I just want to bring you out a number of posts from your leader speaking to the intent that you're pushing. One, if my producer can run them all at once.
No, it's okay. It's good to take water. It's good for your liver.
If I can get them from my producer.
It's okay, you can take some water.
Yes. There you go. I want the position of LOP to be taken by PLU. And the process started. You started it. I have instructed the PLU to study how to remove Ssenyonyi from being leader of the opposition as soon as possible. You're on it.
Go ahead, go ahead. I will answer you.
I want a new leader. Okay. The list continues. How do you divorce yourself from the intention or the bad faith of your leader?
I wish you could address yourself to Article, I think, 59 of the Constitution and Article 94 of the Constitution and Rule 127 of the Rules of Procedure. They provide for the function of a member of parliament in as far as legislation and how a member of parliament can bring...
No, you're executing.
No.
You are executing the sinister agenda of your boss.
I'm giving you my mandate as a member of parliament. And I do not want for you to impute other motives within my legislative role as a member of parliament.
Okay. Do you imagine a parliament where a leader of opposition is appointed by the NRM?
No, how?
And how big a joke it would be.
But how? How are they appointed by NRM? We are saying let the opposition members of parliament, together with independents, vote a leader of opposition. So that is accountable to those members instead of going to Kavule. He should be accountable to those members of parliament and independents.
Well, Honorable Mwiru, Honorable Namara seems to be focused more, bent on the law. He quotes the law. Is it law or politics at play?
Actually, I don't think it's basing on the law, because when Abompuga put it categorically to him, that the word may is directory. It's not mandatory, and discretionary, the way it is. That was settled. So the law was settled. And it was not settled. It was not settled. From the way Honorable Namara is talking, he's pretty aware that he was a member of the East African Legislative Assembly, and the treaty talked about representing the shades of opinion in the parliament.
In as much as it is feasible. Yes. Add that one.
Yes, in as much as it is feasible. Yes. And in our view, the shades of opinion in the parliament was feasible, that all other political parties for which is voting for in the parliament was feasible for them to have a representative in Iyala.
No.
And you knew that it was feasible that Nope was a shade of opinion.
Oh no, if you put me there, we shall spend all the time.
No.
I know that particular law very well.
No. But you know, but you see, were there. I made it. I was not the parliament which made it.
The treaty.
So no. You see, when we're dealing with our rules, under which we're electing, that we made at the treaty, and it was feasible that all political parties, being shades of opinion in Parliament of Uganda, sends representative to Iyala, because the numbers were there. The same person did toe that line during that time. But as if that, then it was referring to a message. This was made public. It's not that it's a secret that you have it.
Which one?
The message you are reading. But two, and most importantly, at least good enough now, you abandoned the issue of accountability.
No, I've not abandoned it.
And the question of the tweet you are alluding to, I think what instigated that was our meeting, the presser we had, to condemn, because my brother here is a lawyer, he knows that our constitution has a full chapter, chapter 4, dedicated to human rights. And he knows that human rights are accrued to us by virtue of being born. They are not given to us by the state. And he knows, unless he disputes, that he including himself and all organs of the state, they have a duty to ensure there is the enjoyment of people's rights. So what him and the team were trying to do, that whoever raises up to say that, look, this is wrong, they will intimidate you, so that everybody coils.
So is it witch hunt towards Ssenyonyi?
No, actually, even if you are making the law cannot target an individual. He knows.
It's not.
He said we were together with him in the university.
Yeah, it's not.
And we were taught things the same way. And even the perception, I think, must be the same, because it's the way the things are supposed to be. But the law must be blunt.
Yes, it has no
this law of the joy notes of motion moved by my brother Namara.
There's no joy notes of motion.
Actually, it is targeting Honorable Ssenyonyi, because he was at a presser as our leader. He raised issues to do with human rights violation, for which his leader actually has made it a habit now that actually can violate people's rights and come up in a tweet and say, it is me who has done ABCD.
Is there a motion of censure on Joel's head?
Not at all.
Of course, apparently, when you look at his motion, it has, I read it partly, says that, you know, it needs to have grounds for removal of a leader of opposition, and that should be include, one of the grounds should be incompetence
and
or misconduct.
Yes.
You understand? Of course, I know my brother here is, what I think he wants to do, they want to pass a law. He said that they don't want it to operate retrospectively. But I think after like a week, you see the same Namala now clad in a different angle, saying maybe he was somewhere, he made a statement to him that constitutes misconduct. We were around, and
so this is a precursor.
This is a precursor to what they
censure.
do. But of course, my brother can do better. It's good we are going to be working together with the 12th Parliament. There are a lot of things you can do, as Honorable Matthias alluded to. But even then, as a colleague, I would implore you that I know your capacity.
Yeah, but Honorable Mweru, you seem to brush this off and render it so redundant and useless.
I think
have you taken time to read the merits, the depth of what he seeks to cure?
Actually, you see now, I think let me also make this very clear. As to whether you come, 4 of us, they are going to be the remnants. Some of us who will not look on and not talk when you are violating people's rights. You understand?
What do you mean when you are? What do you mean when you are?
Of course, I mean
you define that.
The plural of you. You understand? Yes. The plural of you. You see, this is only intended to send a cheering message to whoever is speaking about the violation of rights. That well, please, when you do, they will pick you. So what happened to Joel? You understand? And I think that won't even work. Because when you go for Joel, you have to go for all of us.
Oh, well.
Because when you attack one of us, you have attacked all of us.
Honorable Mpuga, there seems to be a general impression that this is specifically targeting one individual, Honorable Joel Ssenyonyi. And there's always been this common phrase, state capture. Has state capture reached Parliament?
First of all, allow me to comfort my brother, the Honorable Namara, that English is not my mother tongue. I speak Lunyachitara, Luganda, Swahili, and more than 2 European languages. So my mother tongue is Luganda. So we can have a Luganda debate. I'm okay with it. So I want him to get that comfort. I say I speak Lunyachitara, so be comfortable. But that said, in jest, it's unfortunate that...
Is it targeting an individual?
Whether an individual or not, the institution of Parliament is not that of individuals. It's an institution of broad national interests. The individuals only mirror those interests. How they approach those interests is a different matter. And my invitation to all and sundry, and especially these 2 colleagues in Parliament, is to rise above the pettiness that comes with some of these issues now that actually first running in the 12th Parliament. To it, just imagine how we went through the last election. I don't know whether the Honorable Namara would comfortably defend the nature of the last election as one would rather deal with comfortably than spending a lot of time debating what the law does and does not do.
Is it a deflection?
Because, well, you might call it an attempt to cover up for the bigger... You see, we left the 11th Parliament without debating the nature of the last election. Even when we several rose on the floor to demand for a debate, to demand for a report from the Minister of Justice on how the last election was conducted. These are the very serious national issues. To deal with the distribution of national resources in Parliament. So how does the removal of the Honorable Ssenyonyi from office take care of these problems? How does this removal provide for the manner in which the Electoral Commission abdicates duty? How does that care for the manner in which ministers abdicate responsibility and look on when rights are violated?
Is the opposition falling in the trap of the NRM?
Not at all, but I would like to invite the opposition also to rise above pettiness. Because part of the problem is that in the 11th Parliament, the opposition lost it. In fact, they allowed themselves to be driven by the NRM on a number of issues, including attacking the Commission. Little did they know that actually they are laying a trap for them. The Administration of Parliament Act is the firewall for the independence of Parliament. So if you allow that firewall to be attacked from outside, for your own comfort, for its erosion, actually, it's a problem. So the opposition needs to smell the coffee and understand that indeed the ruling party is setting a chess game for them. Don't play it. It's not your game. Concentrate on your game. Your game is
Can they choose to ignore it? Or how do they navigate it?
No, they need to understand and get the right approach to this problem. And like I said in my preamble, for me, this is the chess game for the Speaker to play. And the opposition must take this game to the Speaker of the House. The Speaker of the House is a lawyer. He was part of a cabinet that rejected the last overtures to tamper with the law. So what has since changed? So we need to really handle these issues in a broader way. The simplification of serious national matters is the reason why the people of Uganda sometimes believe Parliament is not for them.
So how do you gauge the reaction of the opposition thus far?
Well, I think I have not heard a lot of this reaction. A lot of the reaction is about personalization. I heard the Honorable saying is being targeted. And that's what I hear the Honorable Pomil is saying. I dare say that please rise above the targeting and go for the jugular. It's a major institutional capture that you need to deal with. And whoever is doing it is testing. It's where you have capacity to appreciate the gravity of that approach. Because going forward, even more grievous attempts at legislation are going to come. And the Namalas of this world have proven that they can jump without questioning the purpose of jumping.
As we take a break, do you agree that there is a section of the opposition that's not content with the way the leader of opposition is appointed, and along the way there are increasing voices and support towards what then was the Lumu Bill, and perhaps that could be returning in a different format?
Probably let's go back to where the Honorable Namara started in making reference to Section 8 that says may consult. Does the same law talk about a report after consultation? Is there provision for a report that then you report how you consulted? There's none of that. Secondly, do we have a petition from the opposition complaining about the manner of election? Or the Honorable Namala is being, this very magnanimous man to try and help the aggrieved.
Constitutionality.
Because without provision for a report of the nature of a consultation and the way the law is coached, whoever is complaining silently is not honest.
Simon, ask them, do they consult? You should have asked that question. Do you consult?
Yes.
Whom do you consult?
We do.
FDC, UPC,
Actually,
they don't consult. They go to Kavule and come up with a name.
Actually, to prove that we consult,
yes.
You read the list.
How many?
You said you first wait. You cannot approbate and reprobate. Yeah. This list, you read half of it. You knew for a fact. Does it end there? You know the other members.
I know.
First wait, you know the members who are actually part of shadow cabinet. Did you read them?
There's a difference between shadow
even
cabinet
the law you are talking
and
about.
the leaders of the committees. This is about
even the law you are talking about doesn't allow you to approbate and reprobate.
No, Simon, I was trying to educate colleagues in the 11th Parliament that please do not try to be the one who's leading an affront on the law that protects you. And they could not understand because, again, they were targeting an individual. It's coming to haunt them. But like I said the other time, I repeat the same, two wrongs do not make one single right. And therefore, as a matter of principle, we must stick to it. We must stick to the principle of the law. We are in a multi-party dispensation. Every political party must work its gloves off to grow its strength and compete for power. The debate in Parliament must be how do we make the playing field level other than fighting for what is not actually been fought for. It's a diversion. And I hope Paul and others do not go for the bait, raise the bar as to the issue that should be debated.
We want to take a break, but what if it sees the light of the day? Will multi-partyism in Parliament have been shaken to the core?
What has not seen the light of day in this country? It will be the continuation of the vulgarization of politics and, of course, the threading of a constitutional order. You know, growing a constitutional order and an enduring democracy is a process. And killing it also is a process. It's multi-stage. But from what we have seen over the last couple of months, everything is a probable thing in this country.
But Simon,
and probably
we'll take a very short break, and when you return, you'll definitely rebut.
Yes, I will.
We have quite a number of questions to ask. Could this be another Lumu bill dressed differently? We'll be back.
NBS Frontline.
Welcome back. It's the Frontline as we continue to dig deep into the twist in the proposed bill on the removal or election of the leader of opposition in Parliament. Honorable Namara, I see a bit of intellectual dishonesty. You are pushing for transparency in the opposition. You, a member of the PLU, supported the cherry picking of the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker. What kind of dishonesty is this?
First of all, the Speaker was not just handpicked. The Speaker was elected in Kololo.
The Speaker
was elected in Kololo, and he contested with Honorable Paul Mwiru, and he defeated him.
On the prompting of one person.
And defeated him badly. You are aware about that one. But there was an election. Unless you are really not, I remember you are covering it live, NBS. There was an election in Kololo. The Speaker was elected. There's no question about it. Number two, if the opposition members of Parliament can put government or us members...
So that was an election, right?
Of course it was an election in Kololo.
You look at it as an election. You went already coached on what to do.
What do you go an election?
And who to vote.
What's an election? Let's define what's an election. Is you go and cast your vote in secret for the person you want. If people thought that they didn't want the Speaker of Parliament now, since it was secret ballot, Honorable Paul Mwiru would have won. Because voting was by secret ballot. It was not by lining up. You are aware about, I hope that one you are aware, Simon. So, if I go on the point you have asked me, that what is my interest in looking at the opposition, that's why I got the second part of the amendment that we're coming up with. The other one was the first part, the one of how they're going to elect. We are saying let them elect amongst themselves. But also the independents, because the law provides that even independents are supposed to be consulted. So let them go and elect the leader of opposition. Number two, we are talking about the question of accountability. When you look at the law, the same section provides that the members of the shadow cabinet of the opposition will mirror those who are in government. When you go for vetting, all ministers are accountable. You can censure the president, you can censure the prime minister, you can censure the speaker. All ministers can be censured. You have ever seen it?
Yeah, but there's also a provision on how a law can be removed.
There's no provision for prime minister.
Let me. No, members of parliament can censure prime minister. There's no question about that. A member, she's a minister. She can be censured by parliament. Anyone can be censured.
She's not a minister.
Anyone can be prime minister. She can be censured. The vice president can be censured. All ministers, any person who is serving at the mercy of the president can be censured. So these ministers, when they're appointed, they go to the appointments committee. Why? Because they draw funding from the consolidated fund, and therefore they must be found that they qualify. We even have the sovereignty bill. You have seen 4 ministers have been rejected by the committee. 4 of them. So if they are saying it should mirror cabinet, then why don't they want to be subjected to appointments committee of parliament? So that the same circumstances under which the ministers were rejected could also be for some of them. You may find someone is an agent of Americans, serving the interests of Americans, but he wants to be a minister, shadow minister of oil and gas, bring in foreign interests. So part of the bill is saying...
Is there a clause on censure of a leader of opposition? Right?
It is there.
Yes.
It is there. And do you know how it is there? We are saying we are expanding the grounds. Because the law provides how you remove a leader of opposition. Let me tell you how. If he loses to be a member of parliament, if he ceases being a member of parliament, if he's withdrawn by his political party. If his political party no longer has members of parliament, those are some of the provisions they give how it can be withdrawn. They do not give how that leader of opposition can be accountable to parliament itself. They give all the power. He has a public office which is holding. He has 4.2 billion. You members, you are earning money. Yourself, you are earning money from constitutional fund. So you have to be accountable.
How long have you been in parliament?
I've been in parliament. Do you mean
this
regional
parliament?
But you know when we were sworn in,
yes.
Don't you know? You mean
so barely a month in parliament.
You are aware about
and
that.
And this is all that you're bringing.
No, come on. Let me tell you, first of all, that is blackmail, Simon.
How much thought have you had about this?
That is blackmail. You see, we have, as I told you, we have started parliament. This is a law that concerns the administration of parliament. So before we start looking at how we can put things in order outside parliament, let's first put our house in order. Why do the members of the opposition, why don't they want to be accountable?
Okay.
Why don't they want to be accountable to parliament? So my point.
They have already explained to you.
So our point on the
how
issue,
accountability is
the issue on the point of amendment regarding removing the leader of opposition, we are saying we are adding the issue of misconduct, failure to account, and the misconduct, failure to account, and the incompetence. And the parliament itself has the power, like how they remove all the other people who have been misusing public funds, who have failed to work, how they removed Kutesa, how Nandut has been removed, and all that. They can also do the same to the leader of opposition because the holding the opposition.
What is the role of Kabanda in this bill?
Who is Kabanda? The former Secretary General of NUP?
Yes.
The
former General Secretary of PLU.
Of PLU, I'm not aware of his role as far as I'm concerned. You are aware that Kabanda was my General Secretary, was my Vice Chairman when I was the National Chairman of the Youth League, and was the Chairman of the district. So he has no input.
No. He said the process has started. And no sooner he concluded the statement than you rushed to parliament.
He is a member of parliament. He is free to tweet whatever he wants. His tweets do not stop me as a member of parliament.
Is it by coincidence?
My own
is it by coincidence that PLU is deeply interested in an idea that you bore earlier?
I think you would have to ask the General Secretary and the Chairman. As far as I'm concerned, for me, I'm on the legislative agenda of Parliament to ensure that I move my motion, sick leave, on the 7th or 8th. If I'm granted, I draft the bill and bring it to the floor of Parliament. Then they can refer it to committee. It comes to Parliament. Let them oppose on the floor of Parliament.
Well, do you agree that these are tough times, dark times for the opposition in Parliament?
Well, I think I want to say that what triggered his motion is the tweets. And what triggered this debate is the presser we had where we condemned the human rights violations. That's why that when Honorable Mpuga talked about this matter, I agree partially with him that you see nuisance value politics at times would require at times that when you just keep quiet, because at first when we looked at our brother, I'd construed this exercise like a busybody type of arrangement because this thing had been dealt with and we thought we should not participate. But on a second thought, our population believes in nuisance value politics. That something can actually happen and they say, you see, you have not made any comment about it.
Is this part of nuisance value politics? When someone is arguing the law?
No, of course, there's no law. But for instance, I've told him that the law does not account. My brother Mpuga is there.
Which I don't agree with you.
Have you ever held money in the office that you had the accounting office?
Does the speaker account?
That vote.
Does the speaker
you
account?
Understand? And I've told him.
Why was the triple A removed?
I've told him
on corruption. Does she account?
Of course, you know what she did.
She does not account.
You know what she did, and I told him that even activities planned and budgeted under the office of leader of opposition, the speaker approves them. You don't just go. There's the right that this is going to take place.
So you should not account.
So at no point.
You should not account at all.
There's no point. That is of opposition.
Should not account.
If you talk accountability in terms of money, It doesn't account.
Accountability and functionality of his office.
You must also learn. You see, my brother Namara, and with a lot of difficulty, because you are my friend, I've been trying to, out of courtesy, to show you how certain things actually operate.
But for instance, in Parliament, how can you show me?
Of course, in Parliament,
I could be senior than you in Parliament.
In Parliament, I've told you that when money is voted, it is voted to the Parliamentary Commission. But you're quite an impression that when the money is voted, it goes in the pocket of someone. You understand? There is a work plan for information, and there is a budget. And when they're executing the budget, they follow the activities as they are.
I think
that's why
we've dwelt on this forever.
Yeah, but you see, he must understand them, because I don't want him to come on the floor of Parliament and then he gets embarrassed.
No.
Because
you want to suggest that he comes with a lot of naivety?
No. I've not said that. I'm saying that you see maybe what is going on at this stage, that for you to move through a motion for leave to introduce a private member's bill, you move a motion and must justify. So all the justifications actually is raising. Don't hold.
So why are you worried?
You understand?
Why are you worried about that?
I feel for you.
No.
You understand? I feel for you. I feel for you. Because at the end of the day,
don't worry.
Because at the end of the day,
let me be embarrassed on the floor.
Because at the end of the day, when you go to the floor and then you read half the list of the leadership of NUP, of course, that will be.
I'll read all of them.
That will be dishonest.
I'll read all of them.
So in other words,
17 plus 30, 47. Out of 47.
Yes, in other words, all the issues actually you are moving.
Out of 47, only 12 are from other political parties.
It has no merit. You understand?
How palatable is your motion to members of the opposition?
First of all, there are very many of them who have been inboxing me. They are in my inbox, including NUP members. Yes. They feel NUP itself has held them hostage, but they cannot talk. How many of them have you had on radio?
Why don't they?
How many of them have you had on radio and TV condemning this motion? Apart from Honorable Paul Mwiru and the three of them who are beneficiaries of this whole scheme.
Well, Honorable Mpuga, do we need to split hairs on the legalese in this entire bill? Or we should focus more on the spirit and the nuisance value that is attached to it?
There's nothing like nuisance value. I think I wish you can withdraw that statement, because it's the wrong statement. It's the wrong statement, because you cannot say, you cannot call
okay, the sweeteners attached.
That's better.
First of all, there's one thing that should be very clear. Parliament is subject to all laws governing accountability of public funds. And the procedures in Parliament are very elaborate and very clear. As a political leader in Parliament, your business is to present a program. And then the clerk, as accounting officer, will guide you through an appointed officer of Parliament on how to use those public funds. It's very clear. Therefore, it's not a question of somebody accounting for money in their pockets. Probably to account for the programs they have elected to do. And that is procedure. Reports are made and reports are submitted. I think that ghost should be rested. For me, still, I want us to ask these two honorable members to mutually agree there's a lot to do. The Honorable Namala sounds so kind in promising the opposition in Parliament that is fighting for their space and their rights.
100%.
How I wish you fought for their space before, during and after elections.
I was not in Parliament.
No. You're a citizen and you're a leader. I've never heard you speak about the stolen elections across the country. I've not heard you speak about the violation of human rights during, before, and after elections. That's what is affecting the opposition more than the places in Parliament. And that's why I think the opposition must really stick to. So the whole idea about weakening or making the opposition leader account is just generic, it's general. And I would like to challenge anybody to bring a report that this side of the opposition did not account. That's why we have this bill in Parliament.
But I thought you'd give it to Honorable Namara that he has dug deep and realized there is a lacuna that needs to be addressed. Let's subject it to a test. Yes. If it is unpopular, it is rejected.
It will collapse.
Of course, that is a right. And we are debating the possibility and the impossibility of his propositions. The other thing I'd like to invite him to appreciate is that we belong to the Commonwealth. Do you have an idea of which other Commonwealth country does what you were proposing as a way of understudy? Because the Commonwealth has unwritten methods of work, which we call parliamentary norms at law. Are you trying to go ahead of particular parliamentary norms that are known? And the Commonwealth, that's how the opposition works.
Maybe this will be a precedent.
You see the problem with the opposition, they always want to benchmark on foreigners. They don't have their own homegrown democratic systems. Now, I want to just chip in on his point. Honorable Mpuga here is the culprit of the issue of accountability.
How?
For example, these people of NUP removed you from being leader of opposition, that you were given 500 million awards by the commission. Was he the accounting officer?
Does that make me culprit?
No, I want to ask you. No, you're a victim, not the culprit. Sorry, you're a victim
of ignorance.
So
that's why I continue to educate.
Honorable Paul, are you trying to say when Honorable Mathias Mpuga, when you removed him from leader of opposition for 500 million, was he the accounting officer?
No, you see, you are mixing.
No, you answer me. Answer that question.
You are actually mixing two things. You are mixing where money is appropriated to a vote. You understand, and when we would have an opinion to what you may get as a Namara.
Okay. Honorable Mpuga.
The point I was making is that, and I want to answer him, when a wrong is made, it does not make repeating it right. That's why the law must be canvassed properly and with good intentions. I think what is besetting his proposals is the spirit. We are coming from a backdrop of stolen elections, a backdrop of violence during and after elections, and the opposition in parliament, outside the parliament, is not contented with the outcome of the election. And a prominent member of the ruling party is proposing how the opposition should run their affairs, including how they should have
in the parliament.
Of course, in parliament.
Yes.
You should not forget the fact that the opposition in parliament bona fide has a right to manage their affairs.
But they should also be accountable.
Accountability is generic.
Not an issue.
You
must
come under the purview of accountability within parliament. And the oversight of members of parliament.
Actually, there's no law which exempts opposition members from being
That's the point I was trying to make. There's no exemption, and the laws are very clear. If you want to change the framework of accountability in parliament, you're probably going to go for every officer or every political office in the parliament, not just the leader of the opposition. You have to go for everyone. Otherwise, you are targeting a single office when actually there are several constitutional offices, including that of government chief whip in parliament, which is the constitutional office, prime minister's office, which is the constitutional office. So I think you need to be very clear to avoid being misunderstood and your intention being misconstrued as vainly partisan and with eyes targeting a group or individuals. I disagree with the NUP on particular methods of work, but I would defend their right to work within what the law allows them to do. And I don't want us to use that, my mistreatment, out of ignorance and spite, as a basis for me to defend a wrong or actually misuse of the parliamentary platform to try and circumvent proper questions that should have arisen on the floor of parliament relating to governance of the country.
There was a similar attempt towards streamlining operations in the office of the leader of the opposition. That was in the Lumu bill. Do you see any similarity between Lumu's and now Namara's?
Probably the difference is intention. When you look at the when you look at the background to the Lumu bill, which is the memorandum of the bill, is totally different from the Namara bill. Namara has not brought to the memorandum, but he speaks to the memorandum. I can hear it from his tongue. It's a bit different. But I want to invite my brother.
Namara, did you take time to read the Lumu bill?
Well, first of all, I did take time to read the Lumu bill, but number two.
Did you?
I did, yes. I did.
How different or similar is it to yours?
First of all, there is no big difference because it is all talking about how the leader of opposition should be elected. But most importantly,
NRM rejected it then.
But 17 members of the committee out of about 23 approved it and signed it. But because of the machinations and the godfathering within the parliament, it somehow did not see the light of the day.
Can I ask you a question? Yes. How are you going to deal with the opposition that works with the NRM and the independents that have memoranda with the NRM?
I do not know any part of the law, any of our laws in Uganda, that talk about members of the opposition or independent members of parliament signing memoranda with opposition political parties or NRM. You quote for me, which law in Uganda talks about that an independent member of parliament can sign with a political party?
I thought we were discussing practical politics.
Which law?
So you mean without the law?
We must base it on the law.
Now let me ask you on
we must base it on the law.
So for you mean that because there is no law which provides for a memorandum, when Honorable Norbert Mao becomes a minister, Honorable Santa becomes a minister, members of independent members express their intention to work with NRM, that you, that one, it doesn't show you that actually they are embedded with NRM.
Those are now issues. Those are issues you're going to discuss at committee stage.
But
in the
your
committee.
bill,
Yes.
Your bill is suggesting that actually even those who are in bed with NRM should come and vote for the leader of opposition.
It is not
the independents as well, who have memorandum of understanding with NRM, should come and determine who.
But the law is clear. Administration of Parliament Act says consultation with independent members of Parliament. I'm not the one who made that law.
It says may.
Independent.
Honorable Namara,
and for information, we consulted. For instance, I'll tell you that there are members we consulted, and they told us who are independent that for them, because they're independent, they want to stay in the middle there. They don't want to take a say.
Well, as we take a break, I was intrigued by the term that you've been using invariably. Nuisance value politics. Maybe for the benefit of our viewers out there. Nuisance value politics is a political strategy in which a smaller party, independent politician, or faction intentionally creates disruptions, delays, or minor crises to force a larger or ruling party to negotiate, concede, or offer concessions to make the annoyance stop.
So that is even misconstrued.
Actually, it is on all fours with what is being.
No. Actually, if you look at what he has written, what he has read, you do not know the meaning of the word you are using.
Is Honorable Namara playing nuisance value politics? We'll be back.
Frontline.
Welcome back. It's the Frontline as we make sense of the Namara bill. You want to carry it?
Of course, we are moving forward.
You want it to be yours?
Well, I do not know.
There was a Lumu bill. Now this is a Namara bill, right?
I do not know whether you name bills by the sponsors, but I thought the bills are named by their titles. So
if we are to talk about the sponsor, then we would call it the MK bill.
No, we are not talking about the sponsor. You see now that is misconstruing the interpretation. If it is a bill for amendment, it is an amendment bill.
Or it can be done by the one it is targeting.
No, not at all. That is from your own machinations, of course, as you may want to swing it in whichever direction. But the bill is standing and it's going to go through.
NRM rejected the Lumu bill.
NRM did not reject the Lumu bill. The machinations in Parliament, because the Lumu bill had reached the committee stage, 17 members out of 23 had signed it. But the Speaker of Parliament, because of how he was controlling the opposition, he shelved it. It never went on the floor of Parliament. Had it gone on the floor of Parliament, it was going to go through.
Thank you. Honorable Mwiru, how do we factor this bill and the controversy it's generated in the general politics that is running today? The question of human rights and several other things.
Well, I think I need to make one thing clear. I know it may not only be about now the question of the Lukwago, because the Honorable Lukwago's situation, which is our situation anyway, it's not about Lukwago's situation, that because we condemn the man, and I know even my brother does, the way Honorable Lukwago was handled is triggered off this. But tomorrow, they can pick you. And still, we shall, once they pick you in the way they have been picking people and treating about them, we shall still condemn. Because we have made that very clear. That when it comes to human rights, there's no compromises. Even if tomorrow they picked Honorable Namara, and we realize that the due process was not followed, we shall, of course, condemn those actions, because we are, first, Now let me make it very clear.
So is this an extension of statecraft?
Well, I would say yes, to some extent, but the point I want to make to the movers of such a type of bills, because they may bring now a Mwiru bill, that in as long as we occupy public spaces, we shall not stop condemning the illegalities. And as you know, we are waiting for Parliament. Once Parliament starts, the number of issues, including what Honorable Mpoga is talking about, they are scheduled to be also raised on the floor of Parliament. And you may raise and say, why are you questioning a stolen election? So we are coming for you tomorrow. So now they'll look for now another bill to target whoever will be talking about that matter. You understand? Because from the way the Alpha and Omega in this case, of course, I know they're going to be. Also now, my brother was saying that a tweet produced a speaker and deputy speaker. A tweet has produced a bill. Now we may see tweets producing very many bills geared towards crashing on dissenting voices. But the assurance
but Namara says he's doing it outside the PLU.
Absolutely.
Of course, Honorable Namala knows that the public is not docile and gullible. At least they can read between the lines and see what he's actually doing. And the public can wish him well in the direction. You see, if you play my sister one time said that, we have finished, there was no opposition in Parliament. We had swallowed them. Now we are going to...
Which sister of yours?
The way she was talking. Shortly, the same system, turned against. So even like him, I know him. He studied human rights. He understands them properly. He should be the last person, you understand, to take things for granted. Because if tomorrow I'm picked, for whatever reason, it's either for standing to the public space I am in as a member of Parliament, I expect Honorable Namara to be among those raising up and saying this is wrong. Because, for instance, when we were arrested in Gulu, and Arua taken to Gulu, it is Honorable Mpogas and the group who were stayed behind who raised their voices. Otherwise, we were members of Parliament. But we are going to approach a month in the prison. And they kept on saying we had the gun. Along the way, the gun disappeared. Then they kept on, when we were being charged, they told us they were going to be charged of treason. So I kept on imagining treason were picked from a hotel. I was not saying the particulars of treason. So I kept on wondering, can it happen? So as well, the police officer came and said, the doctor, that is going to check our arrest to see. Then it whispered to us that you're going to be charged of treason. I said that this man is just joking. So I kept on waiting to see who would sanction a file of treason. Then until they told us that you are trying to stone the president's vehicle. Then we said, president's vehicle? Where was the vehicle? Because we didn't see the vehicle. And even we spent almost a year going to Gulu to attend. Then later, the adjourned the matter Sunday up to today. We don't know what happened to the treason case. So anything can happen in this country.
So what if it had not been brought around this time? Because you also have issues with the timing of the bill.
No, well, we don't have...
Would it still be better?
Actually, we don't have issues with the timing of the bill. We are saying this bill was... The issues to do with the bill were dealt with. What he misconstrues to be an issue now is what he terms consultation. You understand? But consultation has been litigated on and is defined. For instance, in this case, once we consult, we're not supposed to look for Honorable Namala. And we say, Honorable Namala, we consulted so and so.
Honorable Mwin, before I get to Honorable Mpuga, I believe you've picked one or two ideas. Do you think you can go back and then reach your bill to make it look better?
First of all, my bill is very rich. Actually, we're going to add in more things. Now, what I'm picking from him and from the public, you see, the public has been sending emails or messages for other things to involve in, even including members of NUP. For example, they would want us to include how the leadership of the committees is constituted. They want to vote on how the leadership of the committees is constituted. So let me give you
just the way you vote.
Let me give you something just to ensure I remove the blackmail, which Honorable my brother Mwir is trying to bring, saying that this bill has come because they uttered statements and General MK was not happy. How many statements have you uttered since you came to Parliament, the last Parliament, up to now, on the floor of Parliament, and how many bills have been brought in that regard as a way of reactionary bills? It's not there.
Okay. Yes. What if at the end of the day, you censure Ssenyonyi?
There's nothing like censoring.
You want to censure?
There's nothing like censoring.
Actually, even before, the law as is does not provide for the Prime Minister. You can't censure Prime Minister. I heard you say that you can't. And even if the ministers, even if you did, it's up to the president to determine.
Yeah, of course.
That's why the president.
But you can censure them. You can censure them. You can censure them.
Well, Honorable Puga. Yes, you come back.
Yes.
Honorable Puga.
You come back.
How does the current storm fit into the conversation around politics of the day?
You know, one philosopher did say that a poor man's wisdom is ignored, and a rich man's joke is taken seriously. The Honorable Namala will be disappointed one day if the motivator actually says that I was actually joking.
But you see, there's no motivator here. There's no motivator here.
So
there's no motivator.
Is it taking the joke too far?
No, I'm just borrowing, wisdom from a philosopher.
Honorable Puga should go and be a lecturer at Makerere University.
Please proceed.
He can be a good lecturer in languages.
Okay, fine.
I'm actually a teacher, professional teacher, if you want me to be in class. And I enjoy teaching. You see, the whole thing we are debating is politics at the highest level. In 2022, I had a 2-day retreat with the entire opposition. And my objective was to take the opposition through the concept of statecraft and the DNA of Ugandan politics. And I was educating them that, look, our DNA from independence was misconstructed. It is a civil-military relationship. And should you doze as the civilians on duty, the military eats into your space. You must be awake, you must be aroused, you must be motivated, you must be on the move to keep the military in space and in the entirety occupy your space, because this DNA is not going to go soon. But if you work smartly as the civilian part of the DNA, you can actually eat into the military DNA and try to dilute it. But because over the last couple of years, we have witnessed a dilution of the civilian DNA, and the civilians have slept on duty, and those charged with the duty have elected to be simplistic on this duty, we are where we are. And I want to invite colleagues in the opposition to understand that the job before us is not that to plow around and joke and make small motivated, quarrels. We have an entire nation looking up to us to fight for that little space. In 2023, I made a statement on the floor of Parliament about the shrinking civic space. It was debated. Even resolutions were made. Government came back and even made commitments on the floor of Parliament through the Prime Minister and the Attorney General and the Minister of Internal Affairs. So does the Honorable Namara know these commitments, and is he willing to follow up with these commitments? Because part of what this proposed legislation is trying to eat into is the civic space of the opposition. And the legislation motivated by numbers that, we can have it, we have the numbers, is not going to grow our democracy.
So in a sense, this is awakening to the opposition, isn't it?
Invariably, yes, the opposition must be awakened to the possibilities. See, the numbers, the NRM stroke period you have are motivating for crime. They can actually murder. I am actually waiting for the time I will see the Honorable Namala lead an onslaught on the floor against the violation of human rights.
Do you need numbers to murder?
Of course, I'm graphically speaking about murder using numbers. I love competition. I hate vindictive politics. I hate revenge. I hate retribution. This legislation should not be retributive of an act of vengeance against positions that are construed as unpalatable to individuals or groups. We can thrive in this country competing against each other with decency. And even when you believe Matthias Mpuga has committed a crime, he can be treated as a citizen with a modicum of decency. The action of the past couple of weeks for me are very besetting. And I want to invite colleagues in Parliament that probably that should occupy half of the first session of Parliament to have guarantees.
Here is a shaken Parliament. I think this has now gone to the core of the opposition in Parliament.
It speaks to what I said earlier, that when the military successfully eats into the DNA of the civilian part, the civilian will be shaken. And the few that still have some energy, some fire in their belly, should summon the others to stand firm and say, hey, we need to guard this space. That small space in which you stand is where you're going to even stand and protect and defend the military. Do you remember 2006, 2005, Tumukunde versus the Attorney General and the Electoral Commission? I remember so well that challenge in Parliament and in the Constitutional Court. It means that actually at some stage, even the military can find itself disadvantaged. And therefore, they will need that little space of the minority to speak for them. So for me, it's a general invitation to the colleagues in Parliament and outside the Parliament to figure out these possibilities. Sometimes it's because of our history. Some people are testing to see whether that history can be sustained with a disadvantaged civilian side. And some civilians, either out of excitement, are playing along. I don't think anyone is safe if we allow this to play unabated. At least, you're not going to flex. You did ask me earlier, can the opposition fight these proposals? It's not to be a physical fight.
No, just nipping them in the bud.
Of course, I understood what you said.
Yes.
You are asking. But I'm just saying, the opposition should...
I hope you'll give me the same time.
The opposition should be able to make a passionate appeal from within and without Parliament for the nation to speak with one voice to say, hey, this is one country we call home. We can thrive decently with our disagreements and make the future better.
Would you, Honorable Namara, walk with your head high as having been an architect of something this sinister as it's been widely described?
First of all, Simon, those are your words of calling emotion.
No, but you've had the sentiment.
An amendment.
You felt the sentiment.
There are no sentiments. They are maybe from 3-4 people. How many people have you consulted yourself? How many have you consulted on social media and everywhere? How many opposition MPs? You have heard the Honorable Kawamala of DP himself. Sebamala of DP. He's supporting the bill. So how many other opposition members of Parliament have you? You see, opposition is not only about NUP. That's one thing you must understand. And that's the spirit under which the law, that section of the law, was put in place, that may consult other political parties. NUP is not the only political party. And this kind of innuendos being created by the Honorable Matthias and others to insinuate that the country is on fire, and therefore this bill is not necessary. It's not necessary to who? We have so many political parties in Parliament. I've given you an example. There are 47 positions in Parliament for the opposition. One political party called NUP has taken more than 80% of those positions. Do you call that constructive consultation in Parliament? Or are you trying to say that other parties like DP, UPC, FDC do not matter at all?
Why are you vouching for parties that haven't consulted you?
Who tells them? Maybe some of them are in my inbox.
Who in particular?
I don't have to tell you that.
No. You need to be honest.
No, I don't have to tell you that. It's within my right. What I can tell you is there are so many people who would want, because this is not the first time. You have heard the Member of Parliament of DP. He has told you that any person who opposed a flag bearer of NRM and contested and won is a member of the opposition. So everyone who stood against the NRM candidate and then NRM formed a government which is in power, is a member of the opposition. So when we are construing opposition, we are talking about all those people who are opposed, who opposed the members of parliament. I have heard the offside that the members of the opposition, they don't sit on the same side with NRM, they sit with the members of the independent members of parliament. What does it show? It means parliament has two sides only: the ruling party, the ruling side, and opposition side. And the opposition members of parliament belong to the independent members of parliament belong to the opposition because they stood against the members of parliament of NRM.
If I could take you to the question that Honorable Mpuga posed, have you benchmarked anywhere in any Commonwealth country where such an irregular...
Why do you call it irregular?
It's quite irregular. It's irregular.
According to which law?
That NRM can dictate who the leader of opposition or what kind of business the leader of opposition...
I want to refer you back to the Constitution. Article 59, Article 94, and then Rule 127 of our Rules of Procedure, which give Parliament powers in terms of legislation, but also gives a member of Parliament powers to come up with a private member's bill. Therefore, it is not the first time that we have had this bill come up. Is it the first time? No. There was a removed bill. There was even another bill before that, trying to amend certain provisions of this law to ensure that the minority members of Parliament can participate. But let me ask you a question. If the member of the NUP, for example, if they have the numbers, and we're saying, okay, you amend, since you don't want to consult, you go and vote. If you can vote, since you have majority, and you win, well and good. But if you vote, and they vote against you, and bring a DP, well and good. If you promote democracy, why are you fearing competition on your own side, but you want competition on the NRM side?
Are you cautious about becoming a disgrace unto the NRM if this doesn't?
Those are your words which have opposition tendencies, Simon, on your side. Because from your narrative, I can see you're driving an opposition kind of agenda. Because you cannot call a member of parliament.
Which lenses are you using?
I'm using your own words which you're talking. Because if a member of parliament has brought, let me first finish my statement. If a member of parliament, later, it's now my time. If a member of parliament has brought up a private member's bill, how can you call it Varuga? Using which lenses? Are you a member of parliament? Let it go to the committee stage. Let it go to be processed. Bring your views. Any Democrat, that's what you do unless you're dictators in the opposition. You bring it, let it come to the committee stage. Let's debate it with reason, with a lot of English, as Honorable Matthias Mpuga is doing, with a lot of innuendos I would want. If it does not pass the committee stage, it will collapse. What are you scared of? We have all the necessary steps to process a bill, and they are properly put in the law. So if you're a believer in the rule of law, if you believe in the rules of the game, allow the bill to be processed, let it be rejected at all levels, and it will collapse.
Do you envisage a PLU chosen leader of opposition?
But how? PLU is not a political party. That's number one. Number two, PLU is not...
But the motivator is the head of PLU.
PLU is not a political party. Let me first correct you. I hope you're aware that is a pressure group. Number two, PLU has no member of parliament because they are not a political party.
But you are PLU leaning.
But there's no political... PLU is a pressure group. We are members of the National Resistance Movement. We believe in the ideals of PLU on accountability and fighting corruption. However, they have no influence. PLU has no influence in selecting the leader of opposition. Unless you are saying that these guys of opposition, they're actually members of PLU themselves.
Your leader says he wants a PLU leader of opposition. Do you agree with him?
If that happened,
do you agree with him?
If that happened, it would mean the opposition, there are more in opposition who are working with us.
Honorable Mweru, do you see scenarios unfolding? Take, for instance, how to manage the intent of the PLU boss. He wants a PLU leader of opposition. How best can it be managed?
Well, I have no comment about that, but what I wanted to say on one of the reasons, of course, I don't see how I can engage into the PLU business.
You may join soon.
Because I don't take I don't take serious. I know we have got
there are two PLU chosen speakers
on Twitter, yes. But that maybe that's the new method they have adopted. But I wanted to maybe to give some information to my brother that one of the things maybe you don't know why you need maybe even to consult before you go on with your bill. Like, for instance, there are parties with when it comes to numerical strength, when you are constituting even leadership in parliament, or committees, or even designating members, you realize that the numbers we have, each and every person is placed at every, for instance, like at committee stage, where the requests have come from as part of the further consultation we do. But I wanted to deal with the consultation because it's what seems to be disturbing you. The consultation. That the consultation as is, there's no form it must take. Maybe that's what has also been disturbing you. But we do a lot of consultation as I close on this matter. So you don't need to worry. You need to concentrate more. Even because, for instance, you didn't respond to, because we have members of parliament who are NRM, who are from opposition, who are in the cabinet. We have members who are independent, who are working, who also who are working with NRM. And for you, you had said that you had been mistaken to think that because others sit on our side, therefore they are conscripted to be members of opposition by sitting on our side.
Honorable Mwiru,
which is not the
Honorable
case.
Mwiru, what would it take for the wish of the principle behind all this to be granted?
There's no principle behind all this.
Well, you see, they have the numbers, and this is the mob justice Honorable Mpoga referred to, that they can use it the way they do. But I know what my brother, the hurdle is going to face, is that other than merely bring a motion, for some reasons, one of them now is very popular. He has been all over about the bill. This bill must be, this motion is processed in the House. And there must be sound reason for which Parliament grants you leave.
Yes, no problem.
You understand? I was just shaving the embarrassment
There's no
to
embarrassment.
be the one of the first MOP, because before we had debated that if a member is agitated to bring something, all he wants to do is work by bringing a bill, why should Parliament deny?
But do you see do you see the two speakers summoning their political conscience when they have to pay allegiance to a certain authority?
Well, you see, like for the question of leave is granted is granted by the entire House. And I don't know whether maybe you need to improve your bill and the way you are putting it up, because if you go that way, you will be denied the leave.
Have you seen it?
From the way you are talking,
Then you would be very happy.
You understand?
Well, Honorable
Be happy
Mpuga,
with the dynamic.
as a senior legislator, do you see Parliament being arm-twisted to play to the whims of the principle?
I am never speculative, unfortunately, on matters of politics. But what I can say will be a statement as a matter of advice, namely to the Honorable Paul Mwiru, is to rally the opposition to understand how intricate your position is in Parliament, and therefore try to work together even when the situation is most precarious. You need to work together and to overcome it. Secondly, to my brother, the Honorable Namara, I'm happy to hear him speak the language of justice and fairness.
Very good.
I'm made to believe that probably, because we also don't know, you also don't know, our Lord could be on the way coming. That now, those hitherto who have never had justice as part of their lingua, are seeing that justice is very important in the conduct of public affairs. May you please carry through that language of justice, through the thread of your legislation, that this country can see an emergence of an epoch of a new belief in justice, not simply rhetoric to serve the moment of the time. Because what is constraining the growth of our democracy is injustice, brazen injustice, brazen unlawlessness, brazen impunity. That's what is killing the space in which we should be playing as public servants. If you carry through that way, And the language is justice, not revenge, not retribution, not vengeance, not show of martial, political martial and power, because that too has limitations.
Yeah, but politically speaking, there always comes a moment where you draw certain scenarios of what could happen. Do you see any scenarios of how this bill could sail through?
My construction of how Parliament works, especially in the early month, is that anything is possible. Sobriety normally reigns in latter month, when in reality the later reigns into the legislature that actually we could have done better. It's normally late. But this is time to impress. You will see people jumping, on their feet to speak, to make statements that you may not even understand that they could be said by members of Parliament, because this is time to show presence. And Namala and the group were smart, that they come at a time when many, because he's been in Parliament in East Africa, he knows how motivating it can be to speak, even about speaking about what you don't know. So he could easily ambush these well-meaning novices into legislative murder, when actually believing that they are doing their work. Like I said, that
ambush
the job of
trick.
the whatever it is, that the job of an MP is to make laws. The question is, which law? We are supposed to make laws that make positive addition to the wishes of our people, not to fill shelves that you'll never implement them.
Finally, as we get out of here, Honorable Namara, other than Lenos Ngopek and another legislator with whom you are at the press conference, who else is with you?
Oh, the entire House, including the opposition, they are supporting this bill. And I can tell you, for a fact, you see that, my colleagues, Honorable Mwiru and Honorable Mathias Mpuga, I was smiling when I was talking, because he talks a lot of rhetoric. When you call members of Parliament the novices, they're excited.
I said well-meaning.
They don't know what to do and they can be ambushed. These are very senior members of society. First of all, what's wrong with the members of Parliament, of the opposition, electing their own leader of opposition? Why are some people hell-bent, or why are they worried of an election of the democracy they have been so much preaching about to have in NRM and in Uganda? We are saying Uganda have an election. Don't go for appointment in Kavule and you bring a leader of opposition without consulting the other minority parties. If you feel you have majority in Parliament, as in NUP, you go for an election with other members of the opposition so they can elect you, so that if you make a mistake as a leader of opposition, they can put you to account for it. In that one, Honorable Mathias Mpuga and Honorable Mwiru, I don't see any injustice which you're talking about.
Can you name three members of the opposition who are on your side?
Oh, very many.
No.
You're going to see them in the voting.
You have the liberty. Please name them.
Let me tell you. No. This one, you see,
what is so secretive about?
We are processing a bill. We are seeking parliamentary approval, leave of parliament, to go and start drafting the bill. So it will be premature for me to start.
If your bill is palatable, tell us who is with you.
Don't worry about that one. You will see how palatable it is when it is being passed by the opposition themselves. I can assure you, members of NUP, if the secret ballot, because they have been hijacked by a cartel, a few members from Kavule, they have been hijacked. So we are the liberators. Actually, I'm like the liberator. Yes. I'm the liberator. No, it will depend if you are voting in your. If you are voting in your no, I mean in the opposition. When you are voting, you are a member. When you are voting, you are a member as a leader of opposition. You understand? It can be in the rules that your voting will be by secret ballot when you are voting as members of the opposition. Of course, I know how you vote in Parliament. I've been there for 8.5 years. There's nothing new you can lecture about procedure of Parliament.
Yes. How huge is your appetite to get Ssenyonyi out of that seat?
I don't even know. I've seen Ssenyonyi twice, I think, physically. I have no appetite for him, and this bill does not target him because it cannot work retrospectively. Number two, NRM cannot remove Ssenyonyi.
Why?
Because for him as it is now, first of all, as it is now, he can be removed by these members of the opposition themselves. They're going to remove him if they feel he's not performing. And we're giving them that mandate. Yes, we are giving them that mandate that if you feel you can remove the leader of opposition, you remove him. You are the opposition.
So that's the signal. Well,
And as I conclude, Honorable Simon,
what a pleasure having you, Honorable Namara. I'm
Simon,
afraid that time is fast spent.
As I conclude, just 1 second, I want to appeal to Ugandans to be calm. We are going to process the bill. We give power to the minority opposition parties, so there is accountability and value for money.
Do you think it will go through due process, or it's likely to be hijacked and manipulated?
My view, the parties were...
Simon is very negative about government.
The parties were emphatic about their opinions on the bill, and to me nothing has changed. That's why I was looking at this as a busybody arrangement and a nuisance value.
But it's going to go through. And
that's all we had for you tonight. Have a lovely night. See you Thursday next week. Thank you, my guests. Cheers.
NBS Frontline.